if I was in the chocolate factory, one, I would behave myself, because when you go into anywhere that's a big old building and you with your parent, what's the first thing they say to you in a black household?
Don't touch nothing.
Touch nothing. I ain't buying nothing.
They get right to your nose and they say, "Shit, you don't touch
nothing. Don't you touch nothing." Okay. I'm behaved, so there's no way that I would go down the chute for wanting freaking golden goose. You know what I'm saying? In Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory, it was presumed that they were dead. Okay.
Yeah, they left it deliciously vague as to whether or not those kids survived the chocolate factory.
What did it lead to? To the furnace.
Which I think is hilarious. That's really funny. That is so funny. And that's not something that the 2005 version, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, understood. And that's certainly not something the new Wonka film understands. They don't understand that black humor is funny. It's funny. It's okay if we don't know the kids survived.
I had to go back and I saw the Johnny Depp version. And the Johnny Depp version, directed by Tim Burton. We love Tim Burton over here in certain films that he's done. And in this, I was kind of feeling like, dang, Tim, you really dark.
I think the darkest Willy Wonka is the first one. Our introduction to Willy Wonka is a lie, right? He comes out, literally walks out the door and lies straight to your face and lies straight to the audience where he's pretending like he's sick and he can't walk. Then he does the barrel roll. He's like, "Gotcha, bitch." You know, and it's like, oh, okay, this guy is a liar and you're not supposed to trust him for anything. And then when kids are in absolute peril, he's like, "Oh no, don't do it." And the kid's like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Oh, yeah. Both will be okay."
Don't just stand there, do something!
Help. Police. Murder. It looks like he's drowning.
Dive in, save him!
Oh, it's too late.
Too late!
He's had it now. The suction's got him.
Where the sequel, the movie just stops cold to show all the kids leaving the chocolate factory, that they didn't actually get killed, right? But in the original, they left that so vague. I think this new Wonka deeply misunderstands the appeal of Willy Wonka. It's not the top hat. It's not the dancing. It's not the cane. It's not the chocolate. It's Willy is a psycho. Right? He's an untrustworthy man who has cut himself off from the world, and now he's opened himself back up, and he is strange and odd.
And they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing.
He seems to have motivations that we don't initially understand. Like, why is he not disturbed by these kids vanishing?
Who said that? What the heck is that whistle? Take Mrs. Gloop straight to the fudge room, but look sharp, or her little boy's liable to get poured into the boiler.
You boiled him up, I know it!
Why are the kids even there in the first place? And we don't know for a long time, which makes him almost a villain. But this new Wonka does not understand this.
Wouldn't you think that that's the point of an origin film of a 20-something-year-old man? Who are we to know that something crazy could have happened in his 30s and 40s?
This guy can't be the Willy Wonka in other media. He can't grow up to be that guy, barring something truly horrific happening to him between now and
possible
Willy Wonka. Okay, but you're inventing things, right? I'm talking about look at what's in the film, right? look at what we have. The text. The text says this is a happy-go-lucky guy who loves kids. Kids are great. This was a different guy, and I gotta be honest, man. I don't get the Timothée Chalamet thing. Now, I know we talked about this before with Dune. A lot of the prestige movies that he's in that people really like him for, like Call Me by Your Name and stuff like that, I haven't seen. So I'm missing something. But he is very blank slate, right? He's like a nothing type guy, right? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Keanu Reeves was accused of that for a very long time, right? Of being like a blank slate, nothing type thing, right? Where you can just project whatever you want onto this, empty cardboard cutout. His face is just bland enough to be attractive, and he's got a full head of hair, and he's white, which means he can be in any movie. And so I personally have not been particularly impressed. I'm not hurt either. I'm not like, oh, he's terrible. I haven't gotten it. I haven't picked it up. But that's me having only seen Dune and Wonka.
I think that he's charismatic. I think
where
The fact that you're in a musical in the first place, man, because you have to have balls to do that.
He's got like theater training. So like, I think that's why they chose him. He did not try out for this role. They just gave it to him. He didn't like wow anybody with his take on Wonka.
Hey, doctor! Hey, doctor!
For that case, they could have gave the role to freaking Tom Holland because he's a theater kid too.
Exactly. Who also has a just barely bland enough face and a full set of hair, and he's white. So like,
He can act though.
Tom Holland needs a new agent. He hit that target perfectly. Boom, with Spider-Man. But he has literally done nothing interesting other than Spider-Man. He seems more charismatic to me. But he's had a little more opportunities to do that with Spider-Man. But to defend Timothée Chalamet, like his character in Dune, Paul is personalityless. He's personalityless in the book too. So it doesn't bother me that he's personalityless in the movie because that's kind of his character.
So is there anything that you like about the new Wonka film?
No. The theme of Willy Wonka is pure imagination. A land of pure imagination or whatever. This movie has no imagination. Zero. None.
I beg to differ, man. The wonder is at how he creates his chocolate. Every single chocolate that he has in this film, he tells where he gets his ingredients from and why the ingredients are effective within this chocolate. I like that. That's attention to detail that I like.
You know what it is? At my job, we call it the blandification because I work in television and we had a boss. He liked to make everything as bland as possible. And I think that's what this is. It's like the blandification of Wonka. And they make it bland because it's not disagreeable, right? You start adding spice, people will start having opinions. So they just make it as bland and as straight up like white chicken type thing as possible so that it appeals to a very large audience, right? You ever go to a restaurant and it's just like the food's just like not particularly spicy? It's because they want to appeal to everybody. And that's kind of what this movie does. That's kind of what Hollywood does in general. They scrub all the personality out. The movie is paint by the numbers. It hits every beat it's supposed to hit. You can tell when they're about to start singing. And in my audience, I do go to a snooty movie theater, okay, so I know that. Mm-hmm. But in my audience, when the song started up, there's like an audible groan.
What? Oh man!
like especially during the giraffe scene, when she starts singing about the giraffe and she's like petting the giraffe's neck, there's like, and then I'm like, ooh, that was rough.
That was a dreadful song, but majority of the songs I thought was very good, especially the Scrub song. I think Willy Wonka as a character can be changed.
Of course.
Can be originated from like this path that he was at, and also can end up in the place where he was in the Johnny Depp and the Willie and Gene Wilder thing.
But I guess my issue with the change that they made, I don't care they changed it. It really encouraged changing for the character for each movie, right? I hate getting the same thing over and over again. But the change was a deletion. They are removing things. They're not adding anything new. They're just like, I'll take all that dark humor out. You know, I'll take all the child endangerment out. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna add? Nothing. And so it's a reduction of the character, which is what I have an issue with. But we talked about the new Beverly Hills Cop trailer we just saw, right? You mentioned that you liked the trailer, and I said I did not.
Oh yeah, we were texting.
The issue I have with the trailer is it looks identical to literally everything. It looks like the same guy is color grading all these movies. They all look so samey. And that's again, the blandification of these films. And it's the same thing with Wonka. They are trying to make sure these movies appeal to everyone, which to me makes them unremarkable. When you look back at the 2005 Charlie and Chocolate Factory, a movie I did not like when it came out, and I still don't think I really like it now, but you can see they were trying things. They tried new things. This was a wholly new take on Wonka. I think it was a bizarre misfire. I'm not sure why Wonka was Michael Jackson, but you know, it's kind of strange. Like,
damn, Johnny.
Why make that choice? Bizarre, but it's a choice, right? They made a choice. Wonka made no choices, nothing.
Well, with Johnny Depp thing, I can see what they took out something, okay,
but then they added things in.
What they took out was the musical part. Mm-hmm. They took that out.
No, there's lots of musicals.
Only the music was just the Oompa Loompas. But it's true. In the first Willy Wonka film, the first thing that you see is the Candyman up in there singing about candy. The Candyman can and everything. And everyone had a little tiny little song and stuff like that. They did. And I think Wonka, one that came up with Timothy Chalamet, wanted to do that type of thing and stick with the musicals. But they didn't add anything to it. Well,
no, I'm saying they didn't. They removed things from Wonka's personality, and they didn't give him a personality. He was just like a blank slate for the audience, which again, I know people like. I know it, but it makes for a very dull viewing experience. It's boring. And I think this is the same issue Marvel has. It gets really bland. I'm not a big box office guy, but I was kind of curious because of Timothy Chalamet. I was like, because he's supposed to be this big hit, this big guy, right? So it made 39 million at the box office over the weekend, which made it number one, and that's way less than the 2005 version. So like, I think this blandification thing is truly hurting it. The movies. I think audiences are smarter than this. There is 0% chance you're going to remember this movie in 2 weeks.
What I feel like Timothy Chalamet added the pizzazz of Gene Wilder. When he's walking down the steps, he goes backwards in the beginning. That's exactly what Gene Wilder did. He's copying because he's supposed to be that type of Willy Wonka. So he goes back up. When he's doing the shillings, when he's doing the shillings, and everyone's taking the shillings and stuff in the beginning, and he gets to that one shilling. What happens to that shilling? He accidentally flips it, goes through his pocket, lands in the gutter. That's where Charlie picked up that one shilling in the first film.
What does that have to do with Timothy Chalamet?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying is that not just Timothy Chalamet, with that part of his acting, he's going back up the steps and stuff. I'm saying that they are putting in Easter eggs that are nostalgia bits, but not overhauling nostalgia. You know, nostalgia is good when it's done correctly. And I was thinking like a film like this is gonna have that. I'm gonna put it in your face. You remember this from the original Willy Wonka? Put it in your face. Put it in your face. Put it in your face. All that, but it didn't do that. It didn't do the Super Mario Brother thing that you didn't like earlier this year. Yeah. I felt like it did its own thing, but it didn't do enough for you. It didn't do enough to make it feel original, even more original. For me, I felt like it did pretty good.
I think they made Wonka so bland that a side character played by Keegan-Michael Key outshined Wonka, and that's shameful. Like, that's wrong. The movie's called Wonka. Why are you being upstaged by a guy who the whole joke is the fat suit he's wearing gets bigger? That's the joke, right? It's as simple, as base as possible. And you know why he outshined Timothy? Not because of acting or skill. It's because he had a character. He had a personality. And I didn't like that Wonka, who has a very defined personality, had no personality here. Like, I always talk about movies that you can like start chipping at, right? And start digging. Man, this was a balloon. You tip at it, the whole thing pops, boom, it just explodes, you know? That doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily mean it's like a complete waste of your time. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It's just when I watched Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory and Charlie and Chocolate Factory, and then this came out looking very weak. I also thought it was interesting in the 70s version how long they spent with Charlie without Willy. Without Willy Wonka. They spent a long time explaining to you who this kid was, why he is the way he is, why he wants to go to win this chocolate factory, how ridiculous his dream is to go there. From what I understand, the charm of this character isn't that his chocolate tastes good. You know, we can't taste the chocolate, right? So it's not that his chocolate tastes good or that it can make you fly. It's that he is a strange guy. He is so strange. And the implication is that he's strange because he's a shut-in. Just to be clear, I didn't hate this film. I didn't hate Wonka. It was just bland. And that is frustrating for me. I'm frustrated by bland movies that say nothing, do nothing, look like nothing, sound like nothing, personalityless characters. it's frustrating to me because there's just so many of them. But I thought some of the musical numbers were kind of cute, I guess. And, it's fine. It's for me, classic vacuum film. Nothing happens in this film. It's totally okay to skip it altogether. Totally okay to watch it because you can't hate the film. There's nothing to hate, right? There's nothing here, right? There's nothing to do. So you can't hate it. It's just bland. And for me, I find that boring. I find that dull.
I, on the other hand, liked this film. I didn't love this film, but I liked this film because I'm a person who liked the little tiny member berries in here. I liked how Timothée Chalamet was trying to channel the Gene Wilder by going back up the stairs and doing the coin flip and then landing in there. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the music because in the original, it was a musical. The first thing you see is the Candyman singing. All right? And I enjoyed that. To Devin's point, yes, they did take away a lot and they didn't add a specific thing. But I liked the colors, I liked the cast, and I liked that the bad guys got what they deserved.
Let's talk briefly about the Oompa Loompa in Wonka. I'm not going to talk too much about the Oompa Loompas in the Roald Dahl book because they were Africans and it was really bad. Hugh Grant plays the sole Oompa Loompa in the film. And as we all know, Hugh Grant is very much known for being a well put together, posh, like kind of British gentleman type guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's how he plays the Oompa Loompa. But the character on the page is a thief, and he's a trickster, right? So like, what the fuck? This doesn't match. Like, where are we supposed to be here? He's a thief that's so bad that he's been kicked out of Oompa Land, and he's like untrustworthy perhaps, but he's like a posh gentleman. That's how the actor plays him. Good for him for putting a personality on him. But it's like the wrong one. The script says this Oompa Loompa is mischievous. He sneaks into your bedroom at night and steals the chocolate. So I'm like, what? I think just like with Timothée Chalamet, I think they just wanted the actor. They just wanted the actor. Story be damned, and that's what they did. And I'm like, it felt incongruous to me. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird for him to be a studious. He carried around a little case where he has a little blinder where he sleeps and stuff. It goes down,
but he'll also pick your pocket.
I mean, I've never been to London, okay? And I don't know if you have a person that is like a James Bond type person who is a nice thief.
I've never been to Loompa Land either, but I can tell you that these two traits, they don't match. For me, this movie wasn't. It was more studio fare, and my bandwidth on this kind of stuff is low right now. It is low.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know the trajectory of the movie industry, how it's going to get back up on its feet when it comes to having quality for everyone. I'm a little bit more fair on this film than you are because of the fact that it's a musical. I love musicals.
You're talking about the future of movies. Bob Iger said something really interesting. And he said, moving forward, Disney will focus less on messaging, putting a message in their movies. And this is clear speak of someone who does not like movies, right? Like, it's hard to make a good movie that says nothing. That is difficult. There's gotta be a reason why I'm in the theater. I'm assuming you have something to say, right? I'm assuming that's why I'm here, because you got something to say. And he doesn't want to have any more messaging in his movies. That's, I think, a horrific omen for Disney, who already is struggling right now. So you talk about the future of movies, it looks glum. It looks gloomy. At least these big budget studio things, right? I know that a lot of smaller creators are making interesting things. But what's interesting about that is that because of the pandemic, a lot of these guys are being pushed off streaming. And maybe this is something the movie industry just has to go through to just, push out all the garbage. But it's frustrating.
A24 is one of the leading movie studios that tries to bring that indie type of feel back. As regards to this series, this film, this character of Willy Wonka, I will still always love the Gene Wilder version. As a kid, you strive to be like Charlie. You strive to be a good kid. You don't want to get in no trouble or anything like that. And you know, when you don't get in trouble, you get rewarded with things. Right. And with Willy Wonka, it was a lesson. And everything that happened to those bad kids, it was all a lesson to teach you something.
They all could have easily won that chocolate factory if they just followed the rules and had shown some integrity. And that is the message of the film. Have some integrity. Where is that in this new version? Where, or maybe it is there. Maybe I missed it. So maybe I should ask you, what is it? What is the new version saying?
The thing that I think that the new version is saying is that big corporations should not have a chokehold on happiness and then corrupt people taking advantage of other people.
But if that's the case, doesn't Willy become a big corporation? Isn't that the whole point? That his chocolate factory becomes the biggest of them all?
But his chocolate is better.
Exactly. There's not the movie's message. Not there. It undoes everything it tries to do.
But we want to know what you think about this. Okay, get in the comments and let us know what you thought about it. Hey, thank you for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you guys. So if you're new to seeing our faces, please hit that subscribe button right down there. We can't give you no chocolate. We're not the chocolate factory over here. And if you did like this video, please hit that thumbs up. Or you can hit that thumbs down, whichever you choose. It's your opinion. Just remember, it's mostly wrong. See you in another video. Peace.
Feel good music, bringing it back. What's wrong with that kid? Does he think that he's black? Chop! Timmy Tim, the Timmy Tim chop. Timmy Tim, the Timmy Tim now chop. Hey now chop, hey now chop, hey now chop, hey now chop.